I can get in here.
Right, it's on.
It's on and recording.
Okay.
So first of all, no hairy knees. Somebody did mention my hairy knees.
Did they?
Yes. And
Did they mention my hairy knees?
You haven't got hairy knees.
I have got hairy knees.
Have you?
Perhaps they mentioned my hairy chin. No.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2022.
Yay!
We are in the depths of winter. It is absolutely freezing outside. Not.
No.
Not. You can tell by the fact the heating's not on. It's what,
Yeah.
13 degrees out there. And it's, I think it's what they said, it's been the warmest New Year on record.
Yeah, I
Hasn't
think it is. Yeah.
it? Wow.
Let's hope that's a sign of a good weather this year. Or does it mean wet weather this year?
Well, it could do. Could do, actually, yes.
No, we have got jeans. We haven't gone that far, have we, Steve?
No, we haven't.
No.
Now, we thought we'd do something different, didn't we?
To start the year off, yeah, we'll do something different because 2022 marks
Yeah, 10th year, isn't it?
10 years of being caravanners.
Yeah. It's gone by really quick, hasn't it?
In some ways, it's gone by really quick.
Yeah.
So let's remind people, because a lot of people that subscribe to our channel who didn't subscribe at the very beginning.
Well, we did have the one viewer. Now we've got quite a few. So
Yeah,
thank you very much for that.
Yeah. So we got into caravanning because at the time we had 4 kids between us. And
Yeah, but one of your friends had a wedding in
Yes.
the middle of nowhere, wasn't it?
yes, they did. And we had always avoided it due to, in my case, experiences when I was a kid.
Yes.
We avoided camping. But then she had this like festival type
Well, it's a
wedding.
marquee type thing. It's
Yeah.
a bit like a circus, but well, I suppose, but it was a wedding. But
It was a wedding,
all
it was
circus
lovely.
stuff around it. It was really good. However, that took us into the camping thing, to which we had diddy squat stuff. Well, we had some stuff over the years that I did from scouts and stuff, but not much. So we had to go and buy some gear.
Yeah.
And we did.
We did, and of course Steve got a bit of a bug then, and as usual with Steve, buy one thing, buy 10.
Well, it's just being outside. I thought this is good. Being out and about.
Yeah.
Being able to see things. Got kids.
Yeah.
Go roaming. So we did.
And we did that a few times, and then we had one too many trips where it poured with rain. And people who do a lot of camping, we are not wired enough to actually sleep in the rain and the damp.
No, and it all started, well, the caravanning bit started, didn't it, when we moved, well, the caravanning bit started when we were sat in a tent and shivering in our coats and watching an iPad, for our entertainment for that evening, pitched right next to a caravan, and they were wandering around in there watching TV with, drinking beer and stuff, and I'm going, this is not right, what are we doing? And getting up in the middle of the night and going for a wee, and no.
No.
So we thought, we're going to have to go and have a look at one of these. So we did.
But it wasn't just that. With lots of children, as they get older, it's more and more expensive to go away, which restricted us to one holiday a year.
And for that very reason, the very next weekend possible, then we went to our local Swindon Caravan Centre, didn't we? To find out what we could have. Oh, what they were like. Because we didn't know what the inside of one really looked like. Well, certainly modern ones, because I remember my memory is old, wooden, no toilets, blah, blah, but that's not the case, is it?
No. My memories were always smelt slightly damp. You had to go to an outside loo, take your toilet roll and your Dettol with you.
That's right.
Somebody else put toilet roll and Dettol, clean the toilet. There was no sense of luxury. So we went to explore.
We did. So initially it was just you and I, wasn't it? Just to go and have a look, and then we thought, well, these are quite nice actually inside, so we'll get the kids, and then they can come and choose, because we didn't know anything about weights and caravans and all that stuff at that time, so we just got them. We had a rough idea on the outside because it told you about the costs and things, but we didn't know what some of the words even meant. Miro, MPT, LMPT, there was loads. It went on and on and on. So we went and had a look.
And we chose a caravan based upon how we like to live our lives. What facilities we thought we'd need sort of for a little mini home.
Yeah.
Not really based on anything else.
No, not really. It was all design and just what would work. And that's what we ended up with, which is, in actual fact, the Sprite Major 6, the Swift entry-level model. Well, actually it wasn't. It was 7.5 metres long. It's a bit big. And I even thought, well, I haven't been on any courses or anything like that. And they had a partnership with somebody who learned how to drive and tow a caravan. So I went on one of those and did all the rudiments that you have to do for the B&E test as it was then. You know, reversing and all that lot in my car, and away you went.
Yeah, well, you didn't. Steve didn't have to do that, but he chose to do it, and I think it's really wise to do a course, one-to-one course, because it's a very different type of driving.
Just somewhat.
And we did that, and on the first weekend we went to a local site called Savernake Forest, which is, what, 20 miles away?
Yeah, and we actually still managed to stay married at the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. There have been many times where I've wondered whether we will survive a camping trip or a caravanning trip.
Yeah, and that would be it.
Yes, we parked up under some trees and then spent probably 3 weeks getting the caravan sorted, and even worse, the awning.
I remember that. Brand new caravan, didn't know anything about silicone in awning rails, as you do now, to be able to help it slide. But we didn't have any of that. And a brand new awning as well.
Yeah.
In fact, we didn't even know which ones we bought. We bought the cheapest caravan and all singing, all dancing, bloody Isabella full awning. It was massive.
Yeah, we did. And we were lucky with the car. The car we had did tow, because nobody told us about any of that, did they?
No, it was purely fortuitous that we found out later on that the weight of the car versus the weight of the caravan were actually in sync. We had a little bit of room to spare, but not that much. It was right on the limit. You know, just happened to work.
So, to recap then, because what we want to really cover in the next couple of films are 10 things for 10 years in caravanning. So the first one was what our first caravan was.
Yes.
And if you remember, it had bunk beds, didn't it, at the end? Because the children saw it, we were at the front in this area that made the bed.
Yes.
Then the dining area made bunk beds. And then there were official bunk beds at the back.
Yeah. And a little toilet and a kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. And the children were smaller, so it worked.
Yes.
Didn't it? Yeah, and it started to become our little snail shell.
Yeah, and then we started to, most weekends when we could, actually go away and see things in it. Eventually, over time, we learnt not to do things in the manner we did. Like, we used to spend like a week and a half trying to level the bloody thing. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And watching other people and going, well, you've got a drill like, to be able to wind these wheels up and down. So, yeah, I was doing it with a manual thing. Horrible.
But you have to accept that when you're first starting out, especially if you're going to go like we did, fairly large caravan and awning straight away, it will take you a while to learn these things, and you probably will bicker and argue a little bit. In fact, I'd be amazed if you didn't.
Now, what about the myths?
Yeah, our childhood memories of caravanning did make us think it would be a certain way, which it wasn't.
Yes.
Mainly, and I've always been fussy about this, that caravans would smell damp and musty.
Yes.
And they don't have to be, do we?
No.
We work really hard to make ours always smell nice.
Take all this in the winter, so don't, get...
Well, yeah, if you don't go away in the winter, if it's going to be left for a couple of months.
So most of the stuff inside it's all wooden and stink anyway.
Yeah.
Modern caravans have like breather holes and things all the way through them as well, so it keeps the air circulation going on.
Yeah.
You didn't have that back in the old days.
And you can get these things, can't they? What are they called, where it absorbs the moisture? Things that you can put in the sinks, and they absorb any dampness in the air. They're like crystals. We use those quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah, the dehumidifier bags.
Yeah, they're really good.
So I've actually got the ones that are quite big. I put them in all the sinks and put a bowl down there. If when it's in storage, so we don't need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, hasn't mattered the last couple of years. We kept the caravan at home just as an extra office or an extra sleeping place in COVID times in case we need the extra space. But in normal times, it probably would be in storage for a couple of months, wouldn't it?
Yeah, normally would.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to wiggle that. Sorry, I'm making notes because
There's a lot.
I'm not one of these that remembers everything. What's next on our list?
Okay, and the other myth is that caravans are really slow.
Well, they're not, are they? Because you have a limit of 60.
I know.
Lorries are 56. They're the slowest.
I think that before we drove a caravan, I hate caravans on the road just as much as anyone else did. I used to overtake them and take chances and, oh, it's only a caravan, I'll pull out quickly. Oh my gosh, now I never do that. Because now you've been on the other side of it, you think caravans are slow and they're not. They can move really fast. They can't brake quickly, though they're okay. I mean,
that's the main issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Braking. Well, and also, if you remember right at the beginning, single axle caravans with all the swaying and that they do as well. People are badly, putting the stuff in them, loading it up as well makes a difference certainly a vast difference on the single axle when it comes to
we've seen loads of, in 10 years, we've seen loads of examples of bad driving. Do you remember when we were in Dorset? I think it was a site near Weymouth. It was a nice site, but it was a slight incline coming out of it, and I watched this caravan go up and then
come backwards,
come back down again, because the car was not suitable for pulling that caravan, or it was badly loaded.
We've put together a video that we did a couple of weeks back. Have a look. There's one on weight. Have a look at that, and you'll see a video of the car going backwards as well.
Yeah,
it's just hysterical.
It wasn't that one though.
No.
Other things. So caravans are slow. That's another myth, and the other myth is that they're You had breathable ground sheets. You've got a thing about that, haven't you?
Not a thing.
You mention it.
I mention it, yeah, because some places say that when you're parking on grass, you'll tend to find some of these sites will say if you've got a breathable ground sheet, you need to take it up or move it every day or whatever. Nobody has ever checked our breathable ground sheet. We do have one, but that has been taken up and moved to protect the grass and all the rest of it. You tend to find this when you go abroad, that grass goes yellow, but you don't tend to find it goes yellow here. In fact, it goes anything. It turns into a muddy patch, doesn't it? But
well, then the thing is, abroad, I mean, we'll talk about that in the next film in more detail, but abroad, they just leave you alone. I mean, most often you don't need a ground sheet anyway, because you've got grass, haven't you? And it's nice and it's hard and it's warm. You want something cool to put your feet on.
It's quite funny as well that you don't have any grass cutting or anything like that when you go abroad.
Oh no, you
do
don't.
Here. You get it all the time here.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I never thought of that.
Anyway, what else is on that list?
Right, so the third area we want to cover is mistakes. Making mistakes.
We made a few of them.
You just will make loads. And it's okay, you just have to accept it. There is so much to remember that you've got to take, that you've got to do. How many times have we've forgotten motor mover stuff, haven't we?
Oh yeah, been away and forgotten to take the handle or the control unit for making the motor mover work. And how do you do that?
You've got to prepare for mistakes. We have we broke the breakaway cable once.
Yeah.
No, there's a film like that. We broke the jockey wheel once on a trip.
Yeah, we went to Norwich. Nobody tells you when you do the jockey wheel up. Nobody ever tells you how tight to do it up. Whereas if you go to Norwich and up that direction, the road is really quite lumpy and bumpy, which means it will slowly but surely loosen itself off. And sure enough, it did. Hit the ground and then broke. Yeah,
and it smashed. We had to sort that out. What else happened? We broke down in France, didn't we?
Yeah, with my brand new Nissan Pathfinder.
Yeah,
not impressed with that car.
No, what was it? The radiator blew, didn't it? Was it radiator?
No, it was the bearing for the pump.
Yeah. Luckily, we had really good insurance, which sorted it out and made it minimally. I mean, obviously, it was disruptive and it was expensive to get sorted, but it was minimal disruption.
It was, yeah. I mean, actually, well, the insurance we had was they provided us with a hire car. And we sent it off to the garage to get it fixed, put the hire car back, and we were back to normal again. But, it's just something you don't need on holiday, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we had the same car, we had the same problem when I was 50. We went to Belgium, and when we came back, Steve wasn't feeling well, he'd been really sick. And then we got off the ferry, didn't we? And we were driving up the dual carriageway to leave Dover, was it?
Yeah.
To leave Dover. And a light came on the car.
Yeah, dashboard light. It's a new car, shouldn't have come on, don't know what it was. So we had to call somebody out for early hours of the morning before the AA turned up. It's another nightmare with the car. But that's not something we did. There's something wrong with the car.
Yeah, but these things will happen.
Yeah.
These things will happen. So mistakes will get made. You will make mistakes, leave things behind, and generally they educate you about what not to do the next time.
What about was it France or Italy when I went down a road, because we're using the sat nav on my phone, one of the tom-toms for the handset rather than a proper one for caravans. But it took me down a road, and I went into this road and went, oh, this is going to be really hard to turn around now, and it came to a dead end, and we had to turn around. So it took about 3-point turns, more like a 300-point turn.
Oh, that was awful.
So that took us on to the need to buy a proper sat nav.
Yeah.
Rather than just rely on the one for cars.
Which brings us on neatly to the third subject we want to cover, which is gadgets.
Oh.
Which is his area. Did I say that I run a business? Oh yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, gadgets. You like gadgets, don't you?
I don't mind gadgets.
Yeah.
Certainly gadgets that are worthwhile. See, the headaches over the years about levelling the caravan. So we've just got a hydraulic one, press one button, it's level.
Yeah.
So that's easy.
There are gadgets you need from the beginning. There are gadgets you go into.
Yeah.
And gadgets you need from the beginning, in my view, motor mover. Because when we had our first caravan, we didn't have one because I didn't want to spend £1,000 or whatever it was on one. Because I'm mean like that.
It was a pair. No, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, and the thing was, we went out once to Savernake Forest, realised how heavy our blooming caravan was, and I immediately said, we're getting one.
No, you can't move it,
We're getting one.
You just
You
could
can't
not
get
move
one.
it.
So, but take it from me, okay, I'm squeaky ass. Yeah, take it from me, you need a motor mover from the beginning. Just get it. Don't just trust us, just get it.
What about TV?
Yeah.
But the aerial, every caravan comes with a TV aerial. If you're in the UK and you can actually, we have to buy an app, don't we? Which way do you point the aerial?
Yeah.
Don't know. So we got an app, Antenna Aligner, I think it's called, but that tells you which way to point it. The aerial worked fine until we came to a site that had the aerial was over there, and there was a load of trees and things in the way, and you couldn't get anything at all. No. And then you had to buy a cable to run it off the bollard as well in some of the other sites because the TV reception was not very good.
And then we've had little dish that you put outside to get signal. And then we've got, for going overseas, a massive dish, which must be this big.
Oh, it's a metre long.
Which we've still got.
Still got it. When you go halfway down, when you start venturing abroad, the tip of the country of France, obviously the nearest bit to England, you can still generally pick up British TV and maybe some DAB radio as well. But the minute you go a little bit too far down, you don't get anything at all. And you pick up foreign language.
Well, you pick up their TV, don't you?
Obviously, yes. Which then said, well, we're going to have to get a satellite dish. So we got a little one, which is fun. It worked fine, a little portable thing. So we had that in a few places as well. But once you start to go down in France a bit too much, even the little one doesn't work. And so you need a big dish, which kind of forces us to get the big one. And
it's like his bloody flying saucer, that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but we only got that because we were going down to Geneva, which just south, still in France. No, we were on the French side of Switzerland, right at the bottom. It's halfway down, and the Olympics were on, and we wanted to watch it all, but it was in English that we wanted to watch it, obviously. So that meant getting a dish of a certain size. Now the dish is not very expensive. It was only about 30-40 quid, but it's massive.
Yeah. So when we had our second caravan, we had the chance to have a satellite dish installed, which is not cheap.
No.
But again, we like entertainment, we like films, we like watching TV. Again, that for us was a no-brainer. We kind of grew into it.
Yeah, it is something you can grow into. Now, maybe entertainment like that is something you don't need. Maybe films is fine. DVD player in the back of a TV, there you go. So you don't need it. So yeah, you pick and choose which bits you want. Now also, something which is a must is in this caravan, it's got one of these kind of waist height type fridges with one of those little freezer boxes in. Tell me, when you go abroad and it's 40 odd degrees, that little freezer box, it turns out to be absolutely no good.
Yeah.
So we got one of these little chest fridge stroke freezers so that I can turn it into whatever I need to. And that is a must. We take it with us. Also the air conditioning, we take that with us as well.
Yeah.
You tend not to need air conditioning in the UK most of the time.
Once or twice we've used it.
Yeah, once or twice we used it.
Cornwall Holiday.
Yeah.
If you look at our most popular films to date, there are Cornwall Holiday in 2019. It was 2019. And you'll see we used the unit then, the air conditioning unit.
Well, now, what's the biggest thing when you go abroad? What's the biggest thing that you must have?
Breath tests.
No.
Oh.
No. Nope.
What? Passports.
What's them things that can...
Oh yeah, for me. Yeah.
We own... In fact, we are the Bug City. We got all the things... When all the windows are open, everything's hanging from them.
Yes.
Isn't it? All our plug sockets have got anti-bug things in them as well.
The reason we do that is that one of us gets bitten horribly by mosquitoes. I think once I had about 40 bites went down my leg. I even took pictures of them, but some of them, yeah. So just be aware if you are going to a country where there are mosquitoes, and I'm thinking mid-France or down.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere abroad.
Yeah. Take loads and loads of like bug spray for your arms, for your plugs, everything.
And even if you're going to the west coast of Scotland, aren't it? There's
Yeah.
all the midges up there.
Yeah.
Well, there are sprays and things like smidge and things like that.
Yeah.
Which
Which
are also
do
quite
work.
good.
They do work.
Yeah.
You do smell a bit funny, but they do work.
I don't care about the smell if you're not getting eaten.
Yeah. So, to summarise then, we've covered just a few of the things we've learned in our first 10 years of caravanning. I'm sure there'll be loads more lessons to come in the next few years.
Oh, every day's a school day. There's always something new.
Yeah. So, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the little bell. And in our next show, we'll talk about the next 5 things that we've learned.
Yes.